It's Friday, August 2nd, and I'm your host, Paula Hersey. On today's show, we grab our rake and bushel basket and head out for a shellfish class, remind parents to get those kindergarten students registered as soon as possible, and invite everyone to Unity Day on the town green today from 4 to 7 p.m. Now for a look at municipal and legislative notes. The town election is scheduled for November 5th, 2019. Please come out to vote for town council, school committee, and housing authority. Hopefully, most of you have verified your voter status with the town clerk at their office. Following the Massachusetts general laws, every city and town in the state conducts a yearly census. Once the town clerk receives your returned census, they record the information in the voter registration information system, which allows every city and town clerk to have an accurate voter address list for all the upcoming elections. Last day to register for the November election is October 16th. If you have students in your family who are going off to college, make sure they stop by and pick up an absentee ballot application so they can vote if they are not registering to vote at their college community. Not sure if you're registered to vote? Call the town clerk's office, 508-862-4044. Better to check now than to find out you're not on the voting list. Have you ever wanted to learn how to shellfish but weren't sure where to start? The Marine and Environmental Affairs Division has the last class of the season this Saturday at 8 a.m. at Bridge Street Landing in Osterville. Intern Olivia Morrow went out and met up with the shellfish technician to learn all about this program.
So we have Learn to Shellfish class, which was, it was geared towards more adults because we have the clamming class for kids, and we found out that a lot of the parents wanted to know how to shellfish just as much as the kids. So I was like, okay, I have to make it a little more comfortable for them. So we have the just generic Learn to Shellfish today. And we have 2 classes this year. I thought on a Wednesday it might be a little quieter, but it looks like everyone wants to learn how to shellfish. So everyone's come out. We've stocked the landing here at Bridge Street. So we make it nice and easy for them so people can practice their cohogging technique. I think shellfishing can be a little intimidating. I know, it seems like there's lots of rules. We have this thick regulation book that we give people when they get their permit. This gives you an opportunity to go one-on-one with one of our volunteers that has been doing this forever, and they'll teach you exactly what you need to know so that you can go out and do it yourself. You can go get your own food, get back to the earth, have something to put on the table that you worked hard for. And so this is the basics. But also, if you've done it before, this is a class to hone your skills. Say, hey, volunteer, where do you usually go shellfishing, and you can meet some good people out here too.
Well, we're new to Cape Cod. We're here less than a year, and shellfishing has always been a passion of mine. And I thought, well, why not give back to the community by being a volunteer and teaching other people how to shellfish and still get the enjoyment out of it, because we get to go home too, even with clams and not just rocks.
They have taught me how to get the clams, and then the little gauge, how to measure them, and then to keep them and how to cook them.
We have a team come down a few days in the summer to plant the clams, to seed them and thin them and maintain the beds. And so that's how I heard about these Learn to Clam days. So on my own I started coming to this and helping people learn how to harvest the clams that I've probably helped plant a few years back.
It brings a lot of people together. All the license sales goes right back into our program, right back into our staff and growing the shellfish. So this year we ordered 3 million 1 millimeter cohogs, and 2 to 3 years later they'll be here so you guys can harvest them.
You have to be very careful with the rake, and if you scoop them up, you have to size them first because they could be too small. And you have to throw them back in because they're babies and they need to mature.
It's great. It's a nice day to be in the water. It's a lot more comfortable than on land. You can see how excited and happy people are that it's something new and different that people wouldn't normally do.
One quahog can drink about 30 gallons of water a day. So they're constantly filtering this water. They're helping to take some of the excess nutrients that they need to grow, and they're taking it out of the water to make it cleaner for us. So having said that, I mean, you do have to be careful where your shellfish comes from, which is why we work so hard with our maps and letting you know the good spots to go. But they're just great, and they're important to the habitat. We're not the only ones that eat them too. So it's great just helping the environment. Shellfish is always good.
I feel like it makes people more educated about like wildlife and like the right way to like do stuff.
Yeah, and it teaches you, like, it's more fun. If you really know how to do this, it's more fun to do this than just go out and buy clams. So.
And it's not just about the shellfishing, it's about the natural resources in general. And, you know, we live in a very fragile environment, and I think this helps people understand just how fragile it is.
Generally, these are the ones that came from a hatchery at some point, and so when you harvest them, you can see what you're getting, and you get some of each year. There's ones that just reproduce from the wild stock, and some that get seeded.
I love handing the kids their little Clamor Kid badges and a book, and they're so excited. We have some kids that return year after year to these. They come to each one of our classes, and they just get so excited. You know, usually as adults, we're looking for the smallest ones that are legal. They are looking for the biggest quahog that they can find to bring home, and it's a big prize for them. And new people getting into it. I just love it.
We're gonna steam them and stuff them. You get to eat clams, which I've never had clams, so that's pretty exciting. And it's just a little fun thing. If you're on vacation, you can do that. So
You can freeze your quahogs, you can make stuffies, you can do whatever you want with them and have them all year.
We'll have one more class coming up. So the first Saturday in August, we have another class. For anyone that's seeing this, come on down. You don't need to sign up. We have tons of volunteers. I want to thank my volunteers because they make this happen. And come on down. Get out there to the ocean.
Do you have a 5-year-old ready for kindergarten, not sure what school or what to expect? We stopped by the Centerville Elementary School to talk with Principal Matthew Shifley and Gina Hurley, Executive Director of Social Emotional Learning and Student Services for Barnstable Public Schools. It's the most wonderful time of the year, sort of. We're almost at, our registration is open for kindergarten right now. And I wanted to take some time today and really talk about getting a 5-year-old into kindergarten. It's not your kindergarten of old, of the old days. So let's start with you, Mr. Principal. What do parents need to know about, number one, getting their child ready for kindergarten? Are they ready?
We have a range of students that come to us with varying abilities at kindergarten. Some students come to us with preschool experience. Some students come to us with no preschool experience. I think some of the biggest things that we want to see in our children are parents who have been reading to their children before they start school, so that they're familiar with books and they're into literature and they're excited about learning from reading. Encouraging children to play with each other and have a nice friendship prior to coming to school with other children, giving them that opportunity to learn how to share and engage with other students is also very important as well.
And he brought up a really good point, Dr. Hurley. The social emotional learning, this is embedded throughout the Barnstable Public School system now. A lot of the things that he just spoke about were really literally social emotional learning facilities. These are what these kids are doing in these schools now. Give us a little understanding of how that rolls out in kindergarten.
Sure. So the district vision is to educate the whole child. So it's not just the academic piece, but it is the social emotional piece. And from kindergarten forward, we start with a universal curriculum. So our kindergarten students will be receiving second step curriculum, which teaches social competencies, self-awareness, decision-making, social awareness, and we build upon that every year as they go from kindergarten on up. So it's really treated like a community where you come in, you start your day as a group, you end your day as a group, you're respectful to each other. We teach responsibility and safety throughout the day in different locations. And that gets, like I said earlier, that is built upon in every grade as we move through the grade levels in Barnstable.
Let's talk a little bit about the day, a life in the day of a kindergartner. Do they still do things with paste and markers?
Absolutely, absolutely. So kindergarten is a little bit different from what it was when I went through school. There are more academics blended in, but I would like to say that we also build in, a lot of social emotional and learning to play and learning to manipulate and use glue and cut, and all of that is still there. But I think, you start the day with the morning meeting, and I would like to echo that really sets the tone, especially at the beginning of the year, for developing friendships, and that's how the children learn each other's names. And then they learn to play and engage in activities together during the morning meeting. So it really does set that stage for how do we get along with each other, how do we make sure our friends are included. And then you would move into, in Centerville, we tend to have our literacy block as the first part of the day. They're fresh, they're ready to learn. And we would have a kindergarten assistant and a teacher in the classroom for the literacy block, and there might be, if we have some students who are bilingual, there might be an English language development teacher who comes and supports in that classroom. We tend to operate with centers, so we would have a whole class lesson with a big book, and then they would go into centers where at one center they might be working on letter sounds, another center they might be cutting and pasting, and then there would be a center where a teacher is doing literacy with the students, and in small groups, so they really get some individualized instruction. We break up the day with a nice lunch recess block. Here we come back and we have our math block right after lunch, followed by maybe some small group interventions, a little bit of free play, and then we end the day with specialists, which could consist of art, music, PE, health, and library and technology.
That's a full day
It's a full
for a
day.
5-year-old. So Barnstable's had full day kindergarten for a number of years now. What do you find that, some parents are very leery of, that's a really long day for a kid, but it seems like it's fairly structured and there's time for everything, right?
Yes.
So when you are out there, open registration right now, why should parents get kids registered now if it's not until September when they have to go to school?
I'll let you answer
You want
that.
me to get that? So for me, it's important to register your child sooner rather than later. Right now, we're setting up our kindergarten screening appointments in May, and we want to get as many students in so we can lay eyes on them. And it's important because we can see what skills they have. There's a nice kindergarten screener that we use. In addition, we have set up stations in our gymnasium where students interact with the teachers and they engage in some play, and we start to get a sense for the skills that students have, and it helps us really formulate the best class list as we possibly can. Kindergarten is kind of like playing poker when you're assembling those lists, whereas when you're making class lists for first grade, second grade, third grade, you've had that opportunity to really know the child. So for me, to set the stage for success for the fall, we really like to see where the children are at. Do they have good play skills with each other? Are they able to share? Do they have some literacy skills? Do they understand shapes? It's really helpful for us to help develop our class lists.
What do parents do or guardians do when they have questions about registration?
So my first line of defense here at Centerville and our help would be our school administrative assistants. I mean, they really do have the knowledge to answer questions about registration steps. When you go through the process, you can set up an appointment to come in, and they'll review the documents. The school nurse would be here to take a look at any medical paperwork you have to best advise you. Like Dr. Hurley did say, it gives you that first go-round of making sure you have everything you need and giving you plenty of time, based on the consultation with them to get what you need.
Right. What are some of the resources that the district provides for that registration process?
So our best resource is the website. And on our district website, there's a registration section that has frequently asked questions. So I think almost every question that we've had posed by a parent, we have put on that website.
What else do you want parents to know before we close today about the first day of school?
So our first day of school in Barnstable it's not a full day of school for kindergartners. We set up our orientation meetings for the first day of school. So the parents come to school with their child. And it's at that point that we answer questions about how do I pay for lunch? How much snack should I pack for my child? How do we do dismissal here at Centerville or any of the other schools? It's an opportunity to really review the ebb and flow of the school for the parents. While we're meeting with the parents as a front office team, the teachers take the children to the classroom so that when they do come without their parents that next day, they know where their classroom is, they know where their hook is. They've had a little time to socialize with each other, and we even set up a small recess for them on that orientation day where they go outside with the assistants and they spend some time playing on the equipment and really getting to know what does it look like when we make a line. You know, so all of that happens during the orientation process.
Anything else you would like to add?
I always like this time of year. I like to meet our incoming students, and it's an exciting time to see some new students getting ready to come through the doors of this school, and they all bring a different kind of energy. Every group that comes through, they're always different, but it's exciting for us as a school to meet our new students.
And Paula, one thing that I would mention is that although right now we don't have any school choice slots available for kindergarten because we are waiting for our resident K students to register, if there are residents of other towns that are considering kindergarten for their child under school choice, we will have more information in August about whether we have slots available for non-Barnstable residents.
Excellent. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Unity Day will take place today, Friday, August 2nd, on the Hyannis Village Green from 4 to 7 p.m. Come say hi to Channel 18 and tell us what you love about our community.
Oh, I think this is wonderful. This is the third Unity Day, and what makes it so special is that the young men who came together to organize the Unity Day and how it initiated it. It came about because of all the turmoil that was going around the country with police officers and men of color that were clashing, and these young men got together with the law enforcement here in Barnstable and decided that they wanted to bring the groups together and show some unity. And that's what this day is about. And it just brought the whole community together to say, you know, we appreciate our law enforcement people and we should be working with them, and law enforcement needs to know us and know them and change that image of young males of color, that they are productive and they are here in the community and they do care. It's a very caring community. It's a beautiful community and a beautiful day that the Lord has given us out here today. So I'm proud of the group of young men that are putting this together, and I'm very proud of my community and that today I'm able to be a part of it.
This day, Jesse.
You know, this is turning into one of my favorite days of the year. Just having everybody from the community come out and be a part of something positive, it's awesome. Well, I hope that more people just want to get involved with their community, whether it's volunteering, coaching a team, or just all around being a positive person and really showing pride in where you're from. And, you know, when we do things like that, I mean, great things can happen.
Community is everything. I can't run my school without community. Our students that we have come from all over Hyannis, and I've seen many of them today with their families. They run up to me like I just saw them yesterday, and it's amazing. I have people I went to high school with. I graduated from Barnstable High School, so I have people I graduated with, people I know from the community, people I know from Hyannis West. It's just a wonderful way to get everyone together. They can have law enforcement be a safe place and safe people to go to, and that's what we need to promote, is that they're here to help and support. And we try to have law enforcement come into our building as much as we can so they can see the positive side of that. Because they hear things out in the community, but we want to tell them the positive side, and that they're here to help, and that they should be able to go to them and feel
Great
supported.
job out here. It gets bigger every year. The Barbosas and the Men of Action have done a fantastic job down here. They really have. It's getting the community involved in everything we do, and getting us involved in things they do. Because in the end, I tell people all the time, we don't know if there's a problem out there unless you talk to us. But sometimes talking to us isn't like the easiest thing for some people to do. So breaking down a little bit of those barriers and having people be a little more approachable, and to say that, yeah, I really can talk to these people and get my point across, or so when they get into that position where they have to call us, they're not so hesitant to call. We're there.
The sense of the similarities that we all have while respecting each other's differences, I think really contribute to the vibrancy that exists in Barnstable. And we see that every day at the Senior Centre. Just being down here on the Village Green is an amazing experience, despite the heat. Just getting to interact with people of all ages, and see the connections, and just a sense of camaraderie and excitement and energy is something that we try and, replicate all the time at the Senior Centre, right, Judith?
That's right. And I think this really shows that the Senior Center isn't just an isolated entity. We're very much a part of the community and very intergenerational.
Exactly what you said. It's community. We're all together. We're having fun. People are finding commonalities in everyday life. This reminds me of the Cape Cod that I grew up on. That where we have everybody coming together. People aren't afraid of one another, and they are finding a way to break bread, have a meal together, play games together, sometimes dunking a police officer together, and it's just a wonderful opportunity. It does take a lot of planning. Fortunately, there are a lot of arms that take different parts of it. The Barnstable Police Department, the People of Action, there were certain elements that they wanted to make sure were included. Being the town, we wanted to make sure that special parts of our town were highlighted, so we're thrilled that we have the Gateway Greeters here with Park Happy. We have the taxidermy trailer from Marine Environmental Affairs. Senior Services, they're painting kindness rocks. We have folks from all over with recreation helping playing games, and it's just a really fun, old-fashioned kind of time. But I think that people are understanding that our police officers, it's been a very different world of late, and to see everybody just having a great time, I think is really special. It's the community.
Up next, things to do, places to go, and people to meet. Neighbors helping neighbors. The Housing Assistance Corporation's Big Fix-a-thon is celebrating its 10th anniversary back where it first started, right here in the town of Barnstable.
This is Tony Shepley. What are you doing from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. on October 5th, 2019? How about joining us for the Big Fix?
The Big Fix is important to Housing Assistance Corporation because it's really our mission in action, a demonstration of our mission in action. So it's an old-fashioned barn raising where we bring people together and come out and help our friends and neighbors and legitimately help people stay in their home and age in place. And some of these homes we go to, the people are just at a point in their life where they really need the services and the help of their community to stay aging in place. They used to be active and used to take, really great care of their home, but whatever, a disability, an injury, a veteran, age, right? They need help from the community to be able to do that.
As I say to all builders, we've been very fortunate on Cape Cod for quite a few years in that we've all been very busy and we've all been able to find good jobs and we've all been making money. So to that I say, hey, let's take some of that money and let's give back. There's always people out there that are less fortunate than we are. There's always people out there that need our help, and we're the people to go out and do it. And for the most part, I think we found that the building community on Cape Cod wants to do that. They want to help and they want to do things that make the community better.
It's definitely, for me, the most exciting event of the year, and one of the reasons is because of all the participation we have. I work with a group of about 40 people from Cape Cod 5, and that's really important and big for us. It's also great not only to see the homeowners and the pride that they have in their house and how happy they are, but also in the beginning of the day when everyone gets together, hundreds of people. This year in Barnstable, it'll be at Barnstable High School. That's quite a sight to see everyone there ready to help, all excited, and so that's something that I always look forward to.
I've been very fortunate in my life. I've always had a job, I've always had a house, I've always been able to do stuff, and to me it's just time to give back. And it feels good walking away knowing that you've accomplished something for somebody else.
Comments, suggestions, accolades, connect with us on Facebook, email us, or send us an old-fashioned note by carrier pigeon. Channel 18 works for you. I'm Paula Hersey, and thank you for watching Barnstable Today.